only lost one game on the way to a top 4 with Rescue Ace. My guy, I ain't even gonna lie, I didn't even know I could do this. This that kind of good. Last weekend, I entered Las Vegas's most competitive event in preparation for the regional coming up, and this Rescue Ace deck, so spicy, I gotta pass the information to you. I've been telling y'all, Rescue Ace is one of the best decks in the format, and in this cook, I'm going to show you why. What's really crazy is that I've actually been playing Rescue Ace a lot longer than you may have known. I've been playing Rescue Ace since Amazing Defenders, and I even have an archetype analysis on the strategy showing you how bad the strategy is before the new support. Thankfully, because of Duelist Nexus, this deck does get a huge boost. It actually makes it a really powerful deck. And today, I'm going to be showing you the build that I use to go almost undefeated with, plus some upgrades. We're gonna break this deck profile down beginning with the starters. There's 3 copies of Rescue Ace Hydrant and 3 copies of Rescue Ace Airlifter. This is pretty standard for every Rescue Ace deck. One thing that I have noticed when playing this deck is a lot of players will try to interrupt the Hydrant and the Airlifter, and I have to say that you're pretty bold to do that, because if you are, you're putting your opponent on you better have the extenders, and a lot of times they have the extenders. If you want to use cards like Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler, you should 100% reserve those cards for Rescue Ace Turbulence. That is the bread and butter of the deck. I like to say that no deck is consistent without at least 9 starters in this deck, and this deck barely gets there. 3 copies of Emergency can be considered a pseudo starter, as Emergency plus another Rescue Ace could get you into combo. Rescue Ace Airlifter is full combo, and Rescue Ace Hydrant is semi combo. And to be honest, it doesn't matter how much of the combo you can get with this deck. If you can resolve the effect of Rescue Ace Turbulence, you're a-okay. Anything above that is just spice. For the people that are looking for another way to disrupt Rescue Ace, using Ash Blossom on Emergency is your best bet. Now, there is a card I actually kind of regret playing only 2 copies of, but I really wouldn't take out anything else to play a third at this current moment. So I'm still only rolling with 2 copies of Rescue Ace Impulse. Some people play 1, some people play 3. I think 3 is more correct than 2. And the reason why is because this card is amazing when going second. It allows you to summon a Rescue Ace Machine Monster to your side of the field, which a lot of times is Rescue Ace Fire Attacker and Rescue Ace Fire Engine. These cards are amazing. When I started to realize when playing this deck is that if you are summoning these monsters on the very first turn, meaning that you're going second, your opponent's gonna have a really hard time breaking these monsters off the board, and they provide you a good amount of advantage. From here, there's only 2 copies of Rescue Ace Preventer. This card is a god card. There were so many times where I wanted to play a 3rd copy, but space is really tight on this deck, and 2 copies of Rescue Ace Turbulence. A lot of times I would use the first Turbulence to set up. The second Turbulence would actually fuel my Rescue Ace HQ and just be a powerful 3000 attack monster. For the cards you would set off a Turbulence, only 1 Rescue, 1 Alert, 1 Contain, and 1 Extinguish. Trust Big Dog, you don't need multiple copies of these cards. It's very fine at 1. And I have noticed some people not playing Rescue Ace Headquarters. This card's godly. I'm actually really excited for more future direct Rescue Ace support to abuse that normal summon that we'll get, but being able to shuffle in these Rescue Ace cards, the 4 that you get once back into your deck, is crazy. Also, keep in mind, Emergency does have an effect to set these cards face down too, so they also can get shuffled back to the deck with Rescue Ace Headquarters. But that's what I have for the starters, the big monsters, and of course our power cards. For consistency, there's 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. There's also 1 copy of Reinforcement or Army, but 0 copies of 1 for 1. I don't think that 1 for 1 is a bad Yu-Gi-Oh card. I just didn't want to give up a monster in my hand to be able to summon Rescue Hydrant, which isn't necessarily full combo. And with the 3 Rhoda, the 3 Prosperity, and the 9 cards that I already have, I have 13 ways to be able to get into my starters. I thought that that was more than enough. Now, the Disruptors cards is actually going to be pretty crazy because I have some thoughts and opinions on this. I think Divine Carnate Kirakara is one of the strongest Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the entire game. There were just so many times with this deck where you can force your opponent to use all of their monster effects, and then you can just summon this card, then summon Turbulence and go for game. I played 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and ironically an underperformer was Droll and Lockbird. Now, Droll is really good against combo decks, but to be honest with you, I don't think we should respect combo decks anymore. Granted, throughout that tournament, I did play against Vanadium and Synchron. Both of those decks actively tried to Calamity Lock me, but to be honest, the book cards are just a little bit stronger. I do play 3 copies of Book of Moon and 3 copies of Kashtira Ephemerer. This is a god card because not only does it put a body on your field to sometimes get that second Rescue Ace monster that you need to the graveyard to summon Turbulence, it's also a disruptor card when your opponent does decide to hand trap you. In my cook decks, I've been playing pretty much 26 main consistency cards, and then 14 interruptions inside of my deck. So far, it's been working really well, though I could see that I can go to 28 consistency cards and only 12 interrupts. I think that that would be good too. I've been fumbling with the numbers, and I really want to see how the 14-26 ratio works with this deck. So far, as you can see, we've done pretty well. All right, big dog, now we're going to go ahead and go into the extra deck. It's pretty self-explanatory with a lot of these cards. Access Code Talker, Unicorn, Solomon Great Heatleo. This card is fire, literally. Actually, before I go a little bit deeper, I want to explain, I was testing out the Firewall line. I don't think it's really good. Now, the biggest reason why I thought that the Firewall line summoning Neo Tempest Terahertz was amazing is because I didn't want to get evenly matched. Throughout that tournament, I actually did get evenly matched. I still won. In my Staples tier list that I posted last week, I said that evenly matched was not a good Yu-Gi-Oh card, and some of you guys looked at me like I was crazy. Getting top 4 with a back row heavy deck that completely disrespected evenly matched by not playing counters to it isn't enough about how bad do I think evenly match is, then I don't know what to tell you. Personally, I don't like the Terahertz line because it takes up too much of your extra deck, and these cards are actually really good. There's Topologic Trisbana. I think that this card is cracked. There's Decode Talker Heat Soul, Solomon Great Sunlight Wolf. I summon these cards a lot. Proxy F Magician, IP Masquerena, Nightmare Phoenix, Donner Dagger, Hita, Solomon Great Almirage, Anima, Link Kribo, and Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Ghost Bell was actually sided in for quite a few matchups. Through my time of testing, I played against Vanquish Soul, I played against Labyrinth. One of the decks that I respect the most is Labyrinth, and this card is really good at stopping them from pop-off. I played 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, no Lightning Storm, no Duster. I don't think that those cards are necessarily bad, but I really prefer the reactive cards to be able to get rid of my opponent's threats. And you might laugh at me, but I actually played 1 copy of Therion King Regulus and 2 copies of Small World. This was my answer to evenly matched until I realized that it's not worth it. The theory behind Small World and Therion King Regulus is that when you summon Kashtira Finra to your side of the field, you can use Finra to be able to search another Finra. Then you can Small World the Finra into Regulus into your Rescue Hydrant, which I thought was really, really cool. But also, if I drew my Therion Regulus, I could Small World my Therion Regulus into a monster like my Fire Engine, and then being able to search Airlifter, because full combo. I thought that that was really, really cool to play, especially seeing that if I'm going second, I could always Small World line into my Divine Kara very easily with this deck. That was the real reason. It had multiple uses, and I really like Therion King Regulus because it's so easy to put a machine monster in your graveyard, and if your machine monster just so happens to be Rescue Ace Preventer, you can actually gain Preventer's effect by using Regulus. There's 3 copies of Book of Eclipse, and then lastly, Dimensional Barrier. I never seen this card, but it would have been really nice against a couple of matchups. So Rescue Ace actually has a ton of niche combos, and this combo I'm going to walk you through is, I think, is one of the better ones. This one is I Don't Fear Evenly Matched type combo, and the only thing you need is Airlifter. So what you're going to do is normal summon Airlifter, using it to get Emergency, and then you're going to activate Emergency to summon Rescue Ace Hydrant and tribute the Airlifter. From here, you'll use the effect of Hydrant to be able to get your Rescue Ace Turbulence, and you'll banish these 2 cards to special summon your Rescue Ace Turbulence, using its effect to be able to set 4 of your Rescue Trap cards, Spell and Trap cards to your side of the field. Now, because Hydrant is on the field, you can activate the effect of Alert, and because Hydrant is also on the field, you can search Rescue Ace Preventer. You'll then banish the Alert to be able to summon Rescue Ace Preventer to your side of the field, linking it off, as well as the Turbulence, into a Solomon Great Sunlight Wolf. Now, since your Preventer was sent to the graveyard, you can trigger its effect to be able to special summon your Rescue Ace Lifter, and then you can use your Rescue Ace Hydrant into a link summon of your Link Kribo, triggering the effect of your Sunlight Wolf to be able to get Preventer back into your hand. From there, you can use your Link Kribo and your Solomon Great Sunlight Wolf for another link summon into your Decode Talker Heat Soul, using its effect to draw 1 card, and then using its effect on your opponent's turn to draw another card. In this sequence, that was 1 card combo, so there's 4 other cards in my hand. You are going to have a hand of 7 cards on your opponent's turn, 6 cards on your turn, 7 cards on your opponent's turn. You also have the effect of Airlifter to trigger its effect to summon Preventer, and then you still have the effect of Rescue to be able to summon your Rescue Ace Hydrant, and then that means that your Preventer can flip face down, your Hydrant will be able to make your Contain and Extinguish a lot more powerful, and you also, again, still have 6 other cards in your hand. I think that that's phenomenal. All right, big dog, so it's time for the Big Cook segment. I have to say that I will be including more test stands on my Patreon as a special thank you for helping me pay my editors. But I'm going to show you guys 1 test stand here to show you what I would do in a Big Cook situation. We got the deck pretty much all shuffled up. Let's see. We got a Prosperity, Impulse, HQ, Airlifter, and a Book of Moon. So this is actually full combo. We already know how Airlifter by itself is full combo. We drew the Prosperity and the Rescue Ace Impulse. We actually have 2 normal summons. I really want to show you what it's like not to just go Rescue Ace Airlifter full combo, because you've already seen that pretty much in the test hands. The only difference here is that if I resolve Prosperity, I wouldn't go into my Decode Talker Heat Soul line. I would actually go into the IP line. So that would allow me to be able to link summon on my opponent's turn, make a monster like Nightmare Phoenix, Transbina, if they just so happen to have some form of interruption. So let me go ahead and show you another test hand. Hopefully we should some spikes. We get Turbulence, Kirakara, Hydrant, Book of Moon, and an Alert. This is actually a really interesting situation that we can be in. The reason why I say this is because this is full combo, but since we have Turbulence, I get to show you guys a different line. What I would do is start off by normal summoning Rescue Ace Hydrant, and then we'd have to declare the effect right here. If we had another Rescue Ace monster like Fire Attacker, it actually would have been really cool. This time around, we'll get into Preventer. From here, I can then go ahead and... so crazy. I can go ahead and activate Alert here immediately off the bat. And since we do have a Fire Hydrant or a Hydrant on the field, we can add any Rescue Ace monster we want from our deck to our hand. So pretty much that means even if my opponent did hand trap my Rescue Ace Hydrant, I still pretty much have full combo. So like, they were big losing right there. From here, I'll use the Hydrant for a link summon into Al Mirage, and then I'll banish the Hydrant to summon Rescue Ace Preventer, and use Preventer plus the Al Mirage for a link summon into Sunlight Wolf, triggering the effect of Preventer to bring back my Hydrant. Since I have 2 Rescue Ace cards in the graveyard, I can banish them to be able to summon my Turbulence, and now my Turbulence can set 4. Extinguish, Rescue, Emergency, and Contain. I'll then activate my Emergency to summon the Airlifter, tributing off the Turbulence, and then we'll use the Airlifter effect to be able to search another copy of Emergency from the deck to the hand. They may not seem like it did much, but it actually did a lot. I could use Hydrant for the link into the Link Kribo to be able to add the Turbulence back into my hand, and then the Solomon Great Sunlight Wolf in the Link Kribo for another link right back into my Decode Talker Heat Soul. We'll pay 1,000 life points. Let me shuffle this up because I get to draw a free Yu-Gi-Oh card, and bam, Fire Attacker. That's actually crazy. I will set the Emergency, set the Book of Moon, and during my end phase, my board can actually look this powerful. There are 5 set face down cards, which is really scary right here. The effect of Airlifter can summon off Fire Attacker or the Turbulence to be able to disrupt my opponent or draw 2 cards. The effect of my Rescue can special summon back my Rescue Ace Hydrant, which allows my Contain and my Extinguish to be really strong, but also Emergency can activate its effect to be able to summon a Rescue Ace monster from my deck to my side of the field, like Preventer, so long as I give up one of these monsters. And Preventer can flip a monster face down. So lots and lots of interruption here. And also don't forget about Impulse that contribute itself from the hand to summon a Rescue Ace monster from the deck. It can likely summon Fire Engine, which will get the ball rolling all over again. But yeah, that's pretty much how I only lost 1 game with Rescue Ace. This deck is a total threat. Of course, big dog, if you want to see more amazing content, you already know what to do. You should probably consider checking out these videos. They are amazing, and I'll catch you on the next one.